Starting off, we have Paul McCartney and Heather Mills. Singer Paul McCartney married Heather Mills in 2002 when he was about 60 years old. Meanwhile, Heather was just 34 years old at the time, nearly half his age. Now, media and fans saw this as a red flag, as they thought that she was trying to take advantage of him, particularly as he had just lost his wife, Linda Eastman, to cancer. Heather didn't have much fame nor nearly as much money as Paul, but they had a child together in 2003 and separated in 2006 and finally divorced in 2008. Now, Heather was awarded nearly $50 million in her divorce from the former Beatle, something that's like $25,000 per day of marriage, and still seemed to think that it wasn't enough. Now, the judge censored her for illegally tapping Paul's phone, and her story she created to defend herself started proving false. Now, what's really shocking is Heather's own publicist quit after realizing how often she'd been lied to, calling her former client a gold digger, a calculating pathological liar, and a few other things we won't mention here. Next up is Madonna and Guy Richie. The icon Madonna married director, producer, and screenwriter Guy Richie in the year 2000. Now, they had 2 children together, and Madonna filed for divorce in October 2008, citing unreconcilable differences. Now, the news came as a surprise to many of Madonna's fans, but it wasn't long until the highly publicized divorce was splashed over every tabloid's front page. On December 15, 2008, Madonna's spokeswoman announced that she had agreed to a divorce settlement with Richie, the terms of which grant him 50 to 60 million pounds, aka $92 million US. Guy then called their marriage a soap opera, but while living with Madonna, Guy never spent a dime of his own money, according to Perez Hilton. Instead, he lived off Madonna's money, including insisting she purchase a 1,200-acre estate for him, funding his flights on private jets, and pay for his extravagant vacations. Yeah, sounds like a gold digger to me. Then there's Alec and Jocelyn Wildenstein. Alec was a French-born American billionaire, businessman, art dealer, racehorse owner, and breeder. He met fellow socialite Jocelyn when she was a guest at a ranch, and they got married in April 1978. They had 2 children together, and their divorce proceedings between 1997 and 1999 gained wide media coverage for the revelations about the couple's extravagant spending habits and the pressure he put on Jocelyn to undergo plastic surgery. Now, although she denies having extensive plastic surgery, citing it's her Swiss heritage, she admitted to a multi-million-dollar surgery to make her eyes more cat-like. Now, during the divorce proceedings, much of the attention was naturally drawn to Jocelyn, and she was awarded an astounding $2.5 billion settlement with $100 million for 13 years afterwards. Although the judge stipulated that she was not allowed to use any portion of that sum to fund further cosmetic surgery. But then somehow in 2018, she filed for bankruptcy as she had used up all of his money, $2.5 billion, which is just crazy. Now we have Anne Hathaway and Raffaello Filori. Actress Anne Hathaway started dating Raffaello Filori in 2004, and they remained together until he was arrested for fraud in 2008. The Italian property developer was jailed for 4 years after pleading guilty to 14 counts of wire fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy. Now, he was racking up huge debts and using investors' money to furnish his lavish lifestyle, which included an elite dog walking service for his brown lab, a $37,000 a month apartment in Olympic Tower, a rented yacht for him and Anne in the Mediterranean, $30,000 to fly his doctor to London for a minor ailment, and $107,000 on a chartered jet to take him and Anne to a New Year's Eve party in the Dominican Republic. Now, Anne had no idea of any of this, but she was complicit. Afterwards, Raffaello said in an interview, "That night before I was arrested, Annie phoned me from Los Angeles where she was doing press for the movie Get Smart. We were on the phone for 10 minutes talking about when she might come home, and if I remember, Annie's last words were, 'I love you forever,' and we ended the call." Now, that was 2 a.m. on June 24th, 2008. At 6 a.m. I was arrested. I never spoke to Annie again. After that, she never spoke to him again. I think she made a business decision, he said, about her choice not to contact him. Anne was really open with police about everything, and thankfully she wasn't charged with anything. On to Anna Nicole Smith and J. Howard Marshall. Anna Nicole Smith was just 24 years old and working as a stripper when she met 87-year-old oil tycoon J. Howard Marshall. Now, after just a few short years, the pair were married. She was 26 years old and he was 89 years old. Now, she wasn't named in the will, but when he died, she sued his son for half the estate in a court case that dragged on for so long that both parties died before it ended. Anna Nicole Smith's lawyer, Howard K. Stern, was also accused of being a gold digger in his own right. He was Anna's attorney during her fight for J. Howard Marshall's fortune. However, they quickly forged a romance of their own, and in 2006 they exchanged wedding vows, though the ceremony was non-binding. Now, in the end, Anna managed to earn a whopping $465 million. Now, that said, she never managed to use a large part of her inheritance as she passed away at 39. Her estate was left to her daughter, Danielle Lynn, who is currently one of the richest kids in America. Now let's talk about Courtney Love and Kurt Cobain. A self-proclaimed gold digger, Courtney Love is in a league of all her own. Courtney openly said that she would only date really rich men, and she truly didn't believe that there was anything wrong with that. But I mean, hey, at least she was honest, and at a point, it's on the guy who chooses to date her if things go south. Now, how exactly Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love got together isn't exactly known, as there are different accounts. However, Courtney claims that they met at the Dharma Bums show in Portland in the early 90s. Now, whatever the case may be, they became a couple by 1992 and got married that same year. Now, some believe Courtney had a hand in Kurt's death. Part of this is due to the fact that she introduced him to illegal substances, while others thought she took his life for discussing divorce. His widow wife then inherited all of his fortunes, and I mean, how convenient. Now there's Gabriel Aubrey and Halle Berry. Gabriel Aubrey was a relatively unknown model until he met and married the Oscar-winning actress Halle Berry. It was on set of a Valentino photo shoot that the pair met. Now, they had a daughter together in 2008, but just 2 years later they decided to end their relationship. Gabriel had been promptly named a gold digger though during their divorce settlement. He demanded a $50,000 lawyer fee on top of $20,000 a month in alimony. He claimed that he needed $20,000 to support the lavish lifestyle that their daughter had grown accustomed to. Now, he wound up getting $16,000 in child support. Though it is worth mentioning that he doesn't even have full custody of their daughter, so he's receiving that for just a part of the time that he's with her. Additionally, Halle had to pay a retroactive payment of $115,000 and as much as $300,000 in attorney fees on his behalf. Moving on to Steven Spielberg and Amy Irving. Steven Spielberg is a filmmaker who married actress and singer Amy Irving. Steven met Amy in 1976 when she auditioned for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. She and Steven then began dating, and she eventually moved in with him. They broke up in 1979, and it cost her the role of Marion Ravenwood in Raiders of the Lost Ark, which he had offered to her at the time. But they reunited and were married from 1985 to 1989. Now, in 1984, they renewed their romance and married in November 1985, and their son Max had been born on June 13th of that year. Now, somewhere in between, the couple reportedly drew up and signed a prenuptial agreement that outlined their income and property and limited how much Amy would walk away with should they divorce. While this itself isn't that surprising, the agreement was drawn up without lawyers present and was supposedly written on the back of a cocktail napkin. In 1989, the couple divorced, and they agreed to live near each other to share custody of their son, but Amy took Steven to court with the claim that the back of the napkin agreement was invalid because she did not have an attorney when they made the prenup. Now, the court found in the actor's favor, ruling that under California law, Amy was entitled to half of his earnings from the 4 years of their marriage, an impressive $100 million. Up next is Kevin Federline and Britney Spears. Kevin Federline started as one of Britney Spears' backup dancers, and he wanted to get with her. Now, they eventually married and had 2 kids, but when Britney had her mental breakdowns, Kevin got sole custody of their kids. Once paperwork was finalized, Britney reportedly had to cash out $1 million to her ex and receive joint custody of her 2 sons. Now, following his marriage to Britney, Kevin tried to use his newfound fame to launch a rap career. He has since remarried and had 2 more children. They are his 5th and 6th overall. Now 10 years later, in 2018, the Hollywood exes found themselves back in court as Kevin requested more money in child support, given the kids were older and the financial circumstances of the parties are significantly different than when the child support was originally resolved. The court process cost Britney $110,000 in legal fees to cover her ex-husband, and ended with a new agreement in which Kevin received 70% custody of their children, according to Insider. Now, although no amounts were confirmed, he was requesting $60,000 a month, and with the new custody agreement, we imagine that he got at least some portion of that. And finally, we have Tama Raymond and Usher. Fans accused Tama Raymond, the ex-wife of musician Usher, of being sketchy and a gold digger almost immediately after their relationship started. I mean, even Usher's mother would not attend the wedding ceremony. Now, their relationship only got worse after their messy divorce. After just 2 years of marriage, the two called it quits. It was then discovered that Usher was solely supporting her lavish and expensive lifestyle. Usher was paying for her Saks card, which fueled her job as a stylist. Though, he managed to pull a fast one on her by selling the house she lived in, which was under his name. Now, on top of all of this, she was found to be an unfit mother. Tama lost custody of her sons after a long custody battle with Usher. His lawyers claim that she was meddling time with joint custody and that she was not a proper parent. Now, Usher had the stronger case and won custody of the children.
First off, we have Shawn and Camila. While they have been friends for years, it wasn't until July 2019 when Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello announced they were dating. The couple had already collaborated on several hit songs together, including their smash hit Senorita, and it seems as if working on music so frequently is what eventually led them to form a relationship. But since going public with their romance, fans haven't been convinced that their pairing is genuine, with many speculating whether the whole thing was just one big PR stunt to further promote their solo careers. Given that they've had a lot of success with their collaborations, pairing up and telling the world that a relationship came out of their frequent studio sessions isn't that hard to believe, but fans have a lot of reasons to believe this romance is nothing but smoke and mirrors. Once their second single, Senorita, was released in June 2019, both singers appeared very affectionate towards each other, both on stage and behind the scenes. The following weeks, Camila and Shawn were seen everywhere, sharing plenty of date nights as their song continued to climb the charts, eventually reaching the top spot on the Billboard Hot 100 and selling well over 4 million units in the US alone. By July, the pair went public with their romance, but it wasn't long before people started speculating whether their supposed love for one another was a PR stunt. Fans on social media were quick to voice their opinions about the news of Camila and Shawn dating, with one person saying, quote, "Which was the worst attempt at a fake relationship PR stunt to promote a collaboration? Zed dating Selena Gomez or Shawn dating Camila?" Another writing, "Are you guys done promoting Senorita yet?" Next up, we have Lindsay Lohan and Samantha Ronson, an English DJ. Perhaps Samantha wanted a little taste of fame when she got into a tumultuous relationship with Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay and Samantha made headlines during their relationship, which went down in absolute flames in 2009. Videos of their dramatic fight even hit the internet, including one where they tearfully fought outside of Samantha's home. Then, in a tweet, Lindsay accused Samantha of cheating on her. Quote, "Being cheated on does wonders to you. I'm doing this publicly because you and your friends call People magazine. So, you win. You broke my heart. Now go away. I loved you," she tweeted, adding, "Please leave me alone and stop staying in the room below me. You've woken me and my mother up. Go to bed. Keep cheating. You win." Next up, we have Jessie James and Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock was already one of the world's highest paid actresses before they started dating. In 2013, she got paid $70 million for the movie Gravity. So I'm sure ex Jessie James wanted in on those riches. Jessie and Sandra Bullock's almost 5-year marriage went down in flames when the world found out he cheated on her with multiple women. And as of 2017, it sounds like he still doesn't think it's such a big deal. In general, both women and men cheat. It's part of life, he told the Daily Mail. We have a feeling that Sandra would disagree. Next, we have Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott. Tori and Dean have had a pretty rocky relationship, and all the ups and downs of their more than 10-year marriage have been broadcast for the entire world to see thanks to their reality stardom. In 2014, Dean famously cheated on Tori, and the woman he cheated with, Emily Goodhand spilled all the details in an interview with Us Weekly. Dean later ended up going to rehab for intimacy addiction, we'll call it, and he and Tori are still married to this day. The one-night stand with Emily Goodhand allegedly took place after a group of friends met up at a bar in Toronto where Dean was on a promotional tour for his hosting job on the show Chopped. Emily was a friend of a friend and the two were introduced. Her occupation was not disclosed. He seems like a cool guy, Emily said. I thought he was very handsome. They became friendly over an 8-hour meal at a restaurant sitting side by side. We were just having fun and hanging out, Emily added. When heading towards the bar at his hotel, he was flirting, she added, and she explained that she was attracted to him because his personality was, quote, very charming. She explained later that she felt she could trust him because he opened up to her and was talking about his kids and his work with her. She also said that they knew a lot of the same people, so we had that in common, she says. During drinks at his Fairmont hotel, Dean did not openly flirt with Emily as there were other friends around them, but later the two exchanged phone numbers, then he slipped his card key with his room number into her purse. We just looked at each other, Emily said. After slyly leaving with friends and making it seem as if she was going home, Emily instead went to Dean's hotel room. At first he wasn't there, but then she texted him and he showed up within seconds. He wanted to make me feel good, she explained, after he flooded her with compliments. Then the time for talking was over. Next, we have Jessica Simpson and Nick Lachey. After less than 4 years of marriage and a reality show, Newlyweds, Nick and Jessica on MTV, the couple found themselves in the middle of an extremely public divorce. At first, Jessica Simpson and Nick separated, and then in 2005, Jessica filed for divorce. During a 2015 interview on CNBC's Closing Bell, she revealed that her biggest financial mistake was marrying Nick, which makes sense since she had to pay him $12 million thanks to no prenup. The biggest money mistakes? I don't know. For some reason, I thought of my first marriage, she said, according to MSNBC. Next up, we have Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore. This relationship was mutually beneficial as it kept both actors relevant through various tabloid headlines. Their relationship and marriage were super high profile, mainly because of their 15-year age difference, but it all came to an end in 2011 after 6 years of marriage, reportedly because Ashton cheated on Demi with Sarah Leal, according to Us Weekly. In 2018, Ashton revealed on Dax Shepard's podcast he didn't eat for a week after their split. Right after I got divorced, I went to the mountains for a week by myself, he said. I did no food, no drink, just water and tea. I took all my computers away, my phone, my everything. I was there by myself, so there was no talking. I just had a notepad, a pen, and water and tea for a week. Next, we have Ariana and Pete Davidson. The world was shocked when just weeks after they started dating, Ariana and Pete announced their engagement, complete with a ring and matching tattoos. But it didn't last long. By October, it was over. And as Ariana told Vogue in the August 2019 issue, their whole relationship was, quote, highly unrealistic. I met Pete and it was an amazing distraction, she says. It was frivolous and fun and insane and highly unrealistic, and I loved him, and I didn't know him. A couple months after their split, Ariana appeared to take a jab at her ex-fiance, writing on Twitter, quote, for somebody who claims to hate relevancy, you sure love clinging to it, huh? Moments later, Grande tweeted, thank you, next. The mysterious diss came just a few hours after Saturday Night Live released a promo video for that weekend's episode in which Pete Davidson jokingly proposed to singer Maggie Rogers. Hey Maggie, I'm Pete. You want to get married? Davidson says in the clip as Jonah Hill cringes while standing in between them. Next, we have Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton. When Billy Bob and Angelina first got together in 2000, they were known for their quick, passionate love and the fact that they wore vials of each other's blood around their necks. Not weird at all. But they only stayed married for 3 years, and in 2018, he told HFPA in Conversation podcast that they would have stayed together if what they wanted out of life wasn't so vastly different. We just had different lifestyles, he says. Hers is a global lifestyle and mine is an agoraphobic lifestyle. So that's the only reason we're probably not still together maybe. There was a different path in life that we wanted to take. Now let's discuss Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Nicole and Tom were married for 11 years, and when they divorced in 2001, Tom got custody of both of their children. In 2019, reports from the Daily Mail surfaced claiming that Tom was banning Nicole from their 24-year-old son Connor's wedding. Rumor has it that Tom's fate faith in Scientology is what made them split up, but Nicole told Who magazine she has no regrets. There were times following the divorce when I thought, wow, this is the loneliest existence. But with Tom, it was a fantastic decade, she told the magazine. I wish all the people that have been involved in my life well, because it's very important to me to be in a place of forgiveness and love. Lastly, we have Miley Cyrus and Luke Hemsworth. Fans think they initially got together just to promote their new movie. Cyrus and Hemsworth met in 2009 on the set of The Last Song, the movie adaptation of the popular Nicholas Sparks novel. Shortly after filming Wrapped, the two confirmed their romance when they had a PDA-filled goodbye at the airport. Actor Alex Emanuel, who watched their quote full-on makeout, said the ultra-romantic exchange was like a scene out of an old movie where the guy is getting on a train and they're saying their goodbyes. After an on and off relationship for 10 years and the actors getting married, they finally split up in 2019. Miley's rep exclusively confirmed to People that the couple had split up. Liam and Miley have agreed to separate at this time, the rep said in a statement. The rep continued in the statement, ever evolving, changing as partners and individuals. They have decided that this is what is best while they both focus on themselves and careers. They still remain dedicated parents to all of their animals while lovingly taking this time apart. Please respect their process and their privacy. 3 days later, Hemsworth addressed the separation in an Instagram post, writing, just a quick note to say that Miley and I have recently separated and I wish her nothing but health and happiness going forward.
Number 10. The Weeknd and Bella Hadid. In 2016, Bella was on the cover of Glamour magazine, where she announced that she was dating Abel Tesfaye, the artist behind the moniker The Weeknd. And I'm very sorry if I butchered that name. At the time, The Weeknd had just released his popular album Starboy, and while it received critical acclaim upon release, following the announcement of Bella and The Weeknd becoming a couple was the headline of the media news world. Questions began being thrown left and right. Who? What? When? Where? Why are these guys together? Since then, the couple has been going strong and seems to be using their celebrity status to improve each other's careers. Bella has maintained her modeling gig and now acts as a social media influencer, while The Weeknd has only grown in popularity, even being cast to star in a new series on HBO Max called The Idol, chronicling a fictional pop star's attempt to remain relevant and her meeting of a man named Tedros, a nightclub impresario with a sordid past. His role has been well received so far, but the graphic content of the show and The Weeknd's role in it has made fans question the musician's creative aspirations, surely putting the magic of his celebrity coupling to the test. Number 9. Justin and Hailey Bieber. Before becoming husband and wife, Justin and Hailey were slowly building up their careers as a musician and a model respectively. They met while Justin was still dating fellow pop musician and former Disney star Selena Gomez and struck up a secret romance. Now, while Justin and Selena were constantly on and off again, Hailey and Justin became closer and closer with each subsequent split, being friends at first but eventually becoming an official item in 2018. While they were both fairly famous before becoming official, following their marriage, it's arguable that they have rise to a new level of success and recognition. Justin is becoming one of the most replayed artists around the world, and Hailey has been working hard in the fashion industry, both on the stage and behind the sewing machine. While their relationship may be true love, the fame and recognition that has come with their new celebrity status will certainly be driving this relationship for the foreseeable future. Number 8. Emily Blunt and John Krasinski. This is a couple that has been in the media headlines over and over again in recent years. The former Office actor shifted his focus to the producer and director side of the industry in 2018 with the release of his horror thriller A Quiet Place, considered to be one of the best horror movies from the 2010s. Emily and John were highly successful before they met each other. While John was playing the iconic role of Jim Halpert on The Office, he actually became a fan of Emily from her role in the film The Devil Wears Prada, admitting that he had seen it roughly 70 times on repeat. They were introduced to each other in 2008, around the same time The Office had begun its 5th season, and Emily was set to star in a biopic called The Young Victoria, about Queen Victoria during her youth. The announcement of their engagement came just weeks before the premiere, creating a little bit of extra buzz that they certainly needed, as the film was not well received. Since 2010, the couple have been seen supporting each other at premieres and collaborating together whenever the opportunity arises, which seems like a cute couple thing to do, but is actually actually just a solid strategy for getting butts into seats. "Oh honey, look, they made a movie together. That's going to be so cute. We have to go see it," said everybody. Number 7. Tom Holland and Zendaya. Tom and Zendaya met in 2016 on the set of the first MCU Spider-Man movie starring Tom Holland's Spider-Man Homecoming. Zendaya was not unfamiliar to fans, as she had starred in a number of successful TV shows and films before stepping into the role of Spider-Man's love interest, Mary Jane Watson. Although her character wasn't necessarily all that present in the first movie, their time on set was spent laughing together and bonding over their mutual interests. It was announced that the on-screen couple were official just before the release of Homecoming's sequel, Spider-Man Far From Home, which fans weren't really excited about as it was the final film in the third phase of the MCU, despite Avengers Endgame just wrapping up the phase with a tight, tear-drenched bow. Following the announcement, however, ticket sales increased, and Far From Home went on to be one of the highest-grossing films that Marvel has ever produced. Since then, they've appeared one more time together on screen and have used their Marvel fame to secure roles with other major studios in several major projects. For instance, Tom is now under contract with Apple TV to star in multiple films that have so far received incredible praise, and Zendaya has made a name for herself in the role of leading lady as well, with her performance as Rue on the HBO series Euphoria, nabbing her a win for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series at the Emmy Awards, and the co-leading part of Chani in the recently revived Dune series. This couple seems to be taking their combined fame and using it to fuel a career rocket that's heading straight for the moon. Number 6. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. Ben and Jen were a couple way back in the early 2000s, like 100 years ago. They met on the set of a romantic comedy flick called Giggly, released in 2003. While the movie may have flopped, a brief but lasting relationship was made. They went their separate ways in 2003 and maintained a solid friendship over the years, but when they went public back in the day, the media circuit ate them up, creating a small boost in popularity for the couple. In 2021, Lopez ended her engagement to Alex Rodriguez, and, coincidentally, Affleck broke up with his partner, Ana de Armas, and the pair reunited. Of course, things only went up from there. Their names were back in the media mainstream. A re-release of the Justice League starring Affleck as Batman was unleashed onto the world, and Jen was tapped to perform at that year's American Music Awards. There's no denying that apart these two are still famous, but together they're a powerhouse couple with limitless power. Number 5. JayZ and Beyonce. Beyonce and JayZ are considered to be the music industry's most beloved couple, first getting together in 2001, a year after they first met at the MTV Spring Break Festival in Cancun. Their first collaboration as artists was released in 2002 and titled '03 Bonnie and Clyde, and not long after they released their second song, Crazy in Love, which landed the couple a Grammy Award the following year. Their hit tracks, coupled with the media attention surrounding their relationship, seems to be one of the main ingredients of their family glue, as JayZ was actually the center of a cheating scandal in 2014, leading to the now infamous elevator fight. Despite the scandal and the fists, they stay together and have remained in the media mainstream ever since. Number 4. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. The couple first met as co-stars on That 70s Show, where they played on-again, off-again couple Jackie Burkhart and Michael Kelso, but they didn't become a real-life couple until 15 years later. Before they met, Ashton married fellow actor Demi Moore, and Mila had been dating Home Alone star Macaulay Culkin for nearly 8 years. Why was that not talked about more? What? In 2011, Ashton became the figure of public shame after Demi announced that they would be getting divorced following Ashton cheating on her with another woman. Now, while the mystery woman was never firmly identified, not long after this announcement, Mila Kunis and Ashton were seen attending the Golden Globes together and later confirmed that they had sparked a romantic relationship. In the time of the scandal, Ashton had slowed down in the acting world, but Mila was making movie after movie, starring in flicks like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Ted, and Friends with Benefits, which all went on to be hits. The press coverage on top of the scandal seemed to give Mila a boost in her career, and despite backlash and personal issues within the relationship, the couple are still together for now. Number 3. Sarah Michelle Gellar and Freddie Prinze Jr. Despite what you may have assumed, these two did not meet on the set of the underappreciated live-action Scooby-Doo movie from 2000. No, instead these two met on the set of a little horror flick called I Know What You Did Last Summer in 1997. The Buffy star and the She's All That leading man were married in 2002 following the release of the Scooby-Doo movie, previously mentioned, where they played Fred and Velma. The announcement of their engagement came only a few short months before the premiere, keeping these two in the media circuit for a majority of the early 2000s. Their careers were steady from 1995 till roughly the mid-2000s, deciding to step back from Hollywood to focus on being the best parents they could be. It's all good though, thanks to their star power and successful projects before their retirement, they were financially set for the foreseeable future. Theirs is a slow game though, as their kids are almost out of the house, which will give them the perfect opportunity to return to the spotlight. Maybe they'll get divorced just for the coverage or something, I guess we'll see. Number 2, Catherine Zeta-Jones and Michael Douglas. Catherine Zeta-Jones met future Ant-Man star Michael Douglas after he had his publicist arrange a date for them. Despite it not going well initially, they agreed to a second date and now have kids and a happy, healthy marriage. While their careers remained steady through the 2000s and early 2010s, it wasn't until 2015 that Michael would return to the mainstream, following his casting announcement as Dr. Hank Pym in the MCU's take on the iconic pint-sized superhero Ant-Man. He began releasing promotional videos with co-star Paul Rudd, and the buzz surrounding the flick became stronger and stronger. Following the successful release of the film, Michael began doing more press and interviews in which he got more in-depth on his relationship to Catherine. Catherine had remained fairly aloof in the acting world as she had been undergoing cancer treatments till roughly 2012. Following Michael's career resurgence, she decided it was the right time to capitalize and get herself back into the acting world. Her husband's success drove her to take roles in several projects, both good and bad. Morticia in the new Wednesday series. Great! The National Treasure TV series on Disney+. Burn it! Her career appears to be on the rise again. With the recent release of a third Ant-Man movie though, the couple are in for a fruitful future. And at number 1, Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi. It was love at first sight for Ellen and Portia after meeting backstage at a concert in 2001. At the time, de Rossi was not publicly out of the closet and Ellen had no idea how to go about the situation. It took 3 years for Portia and Ellen to finally admit their feelings towards each other, and from there, things moved pretty quickly. The moment gay marriage was legalized in the States in 2008, the couple were married and are still going strong to this day. Now, while Ellen may have been famous at the time with both her sitcom and celebrity talk show, Portia hadn't really hit the mainstream yet, until she was casted to play Lindsay Bluth in the much-loved Netflix series Arrested Development. The show first premiered in 2003 and was not immediately receptive to audiences. Despite the stellar cast, which included Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and a young Michael Cera, the writing just really didn't hit home with fans. However, following the public announcement of her relationship to Ellen, the show picked up in viewer numbers. No doubt Ellen's fans curious to see what her new boo did for work. Arrested went on to have 5 seasons, however 2 of those seasons took place in 2013 and 2018, with the latter not even including Portia's character apart from a few green screen insertions. This, combined with the cancellation of Ellen's show, is a case of a celebrity couple driven straight into a ditch. Number 10. Leo DiCaprio. Leo has had several younger partners over the years. He's never dated anyone older than him or even close to his age. Earlier this year, a Twitter user actually took the time to create a chart showcasing the age gap slowly growing between himself and his newest partners. He is currently dating a woman by the name of Camila Morone, who is 22 years younger than Leo. According to the chart, he prefers women in their early to mid-20s, but he hasn't stayed in a relationship with anyone past the age of 25. He's actually broken up with 3 women just because they turned 25. Like, how messed up is that? Like they expired or something. That's not a thing. Despite severe online backlash from internet trolls, Camila hit back at the criticism by sharing several photos of other couples with much larger gaps than hers and Leo's. As you will see throughout the rest of this list, the statement is very true. While other entries will be a bit more wholesome, Leo's story of love is clouded with anxiety. Oddly enough, Camila actually dumped Leo herself before turning 25, claiming that Leo wanted a family and she wanted to focus on her career, but come on, you just wanted to beat Leo to it, didn't you? Number 9. Jeff Goldblum and Emily Livingston. Jeff Goldblum is one of those celebrities that just kinda like plays himself in movies, and we love every minute of it. He even has a TV show where he does just that, called The World According to Jeff Goldblum. It's tremendous, you should check it out. In 2013, Jeff met Olympic gymnast Emily Livingston at a gym. He saw her from across the room and was instantly entranced. He started a conversation, and it must have gone pretty well because about a year later they were married. At the time, he was 62 and she was 31. That's right, there was a 31-year age gap between them. Much respect to Jeff for still going to a gym in his 60s though, we can only be so lucky. And the fact that he met a woman that he loves there is just like a little bonus. Many news outlets began to question the relationship, calling into question Jeff's behavior. But since day one, there has been nothing but love and respect between the two, who share a genuine connection with each other. Their relationship has stood the test of time, as not only are they still together to this day, they've had 2 children together, Charlie Ocean and River Joe. Even at the age of 70 years old, Jeff is the proudest papa that we've seen in a long time. Number 8. Nicolas Cage and Alice Kim. Nicolas Cage is a man that should need no introduction, but honestly his career has just been all over the place, so let's chat about it for a minute. Nicolas is famous for making some very questionable acting choices that have teetered between fantastic and just god-awful burn my eyes out now. While his luck in the film industry has been solid, his love life not so much. That is until he met Alice Kim in 2004 while she was working as a waitress in Los Angeles. Kim was 19 at the time and Nicolas was 20 years older than her. He told The Guardian, "When my mother-in-law came to the house for the first time, before saying hello or nice to meet you, all I got was, 'She's too young.'" At that point they knew the relationship would be an uphill battle, but they powered through, with Alice even starring in Nick's 2007 flick Next alongside Julianne Moore and Jessica Biel. They split in 2016, but during their time together they had a son named Cal L. Coppola Cage, which is somehow both the strangest and most epic name I have ever heard. Number 7. Kris Jenner and Corey Gamble. Kardashian momager Kris Jenner, much like her daughters, has had a rocky love life to say the least. Kris divorced Caitlyn Jenner in 2014 and decided to take a trip to Ibiza to cool off. She was attending a friend's party when she ran into Corey Gamble, a former talent agent who was working as Justin Bieber's tour manager at the time. Sparks flew and the couple decided to continue their escapades, first being spotted together in October 2014 at a music festival. The couple were inseparable to the point where a year later, Corey was invited to be a part of the reality drama series Keeping Up with the Kardashians, following Kris and her family's day-to-day operations. Or something like that, I don't know, I don't watch it. However, her kids weren't so stoked about the idea of Corey being their new papa, seeing as he was 24 years younger than their mother. Despite backlash from the kids, the relationship continued and they're currently going strong to this day. Number 6. Patrick Stewart and Sunny Ozell. Sir Patrick Stewart is a prime example of a man dating much younger women. Star Trek star and future wheelchair-bound telepath met his wife Sunny Ozell, a singer, in 2008 while out for dinner one night. Ozell was a singer in the States and doing very well for herself. She approached Patrick Stewart about his current production of Macbeth. She wanted to see it in Brooklyn, but it was sold out till the end of its run. Well, Patrick then told her that they would be moving the show to Broadway soon and gave her his number so that he could set her up with some seats. Patrick has stated in interviews that there may have been an ulterior motive, and thankfully it appears that that was the situation on both sides. Despite the 38-year age difference between them, the couple began seeing each other not long after Macbeth's Broadway premiere, and they were married in 2013. They are still together to this day and are genuinely one of the most adorable couples in Hollywood. They act like college sweethearts whenever they're together. And Stewart, who is now 82, has made it clear that his relationship with Sunny has given him a new outlook and has made life perpetually interesting. Number 5. Florence Pugh and Zach Braff. Florence Pugh has been carving a path in Hollywood as a force to be reckoned with. She's funny, she's serious, she can fight, she's got it all! And what she also has is a thing for older funny dudes. Zach Braff is probably best known for being in the TV series Scrubs from 2001 to 2010, but I know him as the voice of Chicken Little. Zach first contacted Pugh on Instagram to praise her for her role in Lady Macbeth. He said everything about the project was beautiful, from the cinematography to Florence herself. She reached out in a response and the couple were spotted holding hands in April of 2019. Despite their 12-year age difference, they seemed to have a solid relationship and were going strong until 2022 when things just kind of fizzled out. Although they split, Zach actually wrote a character in his directorial debut feature A Good Person with Florence in mind, and they worked very well together despite their past. Number 4. Sarah Paulson and Holland Taylor. American Horror Story fans surely recognize Sarah as various characters throughout the series, appearing in 95 episodes. She starred in a slew of thriller and horror movies over the years, but one Holland Taylor was able to look past the scary exterior. You may recognize Taylor from the movie Legally Blonde, the sitcom 2.5 Men, or perhaps from the highly underrated Disney comedy George of the Jungle. The two met at a party in 2005. At the time, Paulson was dating fellow actress Sherry Jones, best known for her role in the series Succession. Despite there being a 32-year age difference between Sarah and Holland, Paulson claims that she was instantly taken back by Taylor's beauty, quoted as saying she was probably the most beautifully exquisite woman she had ever seen. Come on guys, find you a partner that says that kind of stuff. While this would be their first interaction, it wasn't until 10 years later in 2015 that the couple would reunite while working on a project for Martha Plimpton. They slid into each other's DMs and eventually into the sheets. They've been together since their reconnection in 2015 and are going strong despite some backlash on their age difference. Number 3. Mary-Kate Olsen. Kate may have grown up on the small screen with her twin sister Ashley, but nowadays she spends her time with a new life partner. His name is Olivier Sarkozy, the former French president's half-brother. Yeah, that guy definitely sounds like a catfish. Olsen, seen here being held hostage by Olivier at a basketball game, is 17 years younger than her spouse. They were married in 2015, and around the same time, her sister Ashley was also dating someone much older than her, director Bennett Miller, who is 19 years her senior. Number 2. Dick Van Dyke and Arlene Silver. Dick Van Dyke stole the hearts of millions when he played chimney sweep Bert in the original Mary Poppins movie from 1964. Fun fact, in 1964, his current wife wasn't even alive yet. He starred in several classic flicks over the years, well into his 70s, even starring alongside Ben Stiller in Night at the Museum in 2006. Van, because I'm not allowed to call him by his first or last name for pretty obvious reasons, met wife and makeup artist Arlene Silver at the Screen Actors Guild Award in 2006. Despite their 46-year age difference, it seemed that their connection was too strong to care. They were married in 2012 and are still going strong to this day, making them one of the few Hollywood couples to make it in Hollywood. Hey, that's something they should be very proud of. And at number 1, Sam and Aaron Taylor Johnson. Many viewers will recognize Aaron's face. He's been a leading man in several movies over the years and a very strong supporting actor, as showcased in his recent role as Tangerine in Bullet Train, alongside Brad Pitt and Brian Tyree Henry. In 2009, when he was just 19, Aaron played legendary musician John Lennon in a biopic called Nowhere Boy. The film told the story of a young John Lennon pre-Beatles fame during his adolescence, with a focus on his relationship between his family and his journey to becoming a Beatle. The film was directed by a woman named Samantha Taylor Wood, who was 42 at the time. Samantha is a producer and director, best known for her 2015 romantic thriller, 50 Shades of Grey. It would appear that Aaron's performance as John, particularly the steamy sections, caught her attention in quite a few ways, and the pair began seeing each other on the down low. 2 years later, they were married and now share each other's last names, Taylor Johnson, and currently live with their 4 kids in Los Angeles. A happy ending to a happy list.